We're live. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Eric and Lisa Pizik here with our Infinite Daily Live show. And today we want to address some beef. Is that the right word?
Beef.
Some beef.
We're going to address some beef.
Some beef going down in the online space with agencies. Now, we identify as an agency, although lately we've been saying we're the anti-agency. Because I'm trying to wrap my head around, I'm in a lot of online groups, women in business, mastermind groups, just groups where people are wanting to refer and looking for online service providers, whether that's copywriters, branding, marketers, social media, lead generation. And lately, all I've been seeing is, looking for copywriting help, not an agency. Looking for digital marketing help, not an agency. Looking for branding help, not an agency. And I'm kind of stumped because, would you call us an agency?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because that's the phrase.
The structure of how our business is set up.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, do I comment or do I not? And it really got me down this path of thinking, why is this happening? And what are the fears that people have when they're looking to hire help? Now, it's no surprise that if you want to grow and scale, you cannot do it by yourself. When we start out, we are a one-hit wonder or a two-hit wonder when you start out. You are doing everything. You are writing your own copy. You are branding. You are creating things in Canva. You are writing your own email copy and doing your own social media, doing your own sales, and the grind of a startup. And a grind doesn't have to be a horrible thing. You can still have joy. And I think we did. We found joy in the middle of the grind and, getting started and all the lessons that we've learned. But it comes time then when you're going to need help. Most people start with a VA. And then you start to realize all these things in business that you can do, but should you be doing it? Is it the best use of your time? And most times you find the answer is no. Doing your own social media, to a point, you can still go on and interact and be with people, but the daily, posting and those kinds of things, writing your own copy, doing your own branding, creating your own logos, linking your own, things and the wingers and the dingers and the jiggers, you don't need to be doing that. So why are people so afraid? Well, the first thing I think is this agency or are these people I'm hiring, do they actually know me? Like, how many clients are they taking on at a time? Because I don't want to just feel like I'm another number. I think one of the pieces of what we do is we're on so many calls with our clients because getting to know them first, everyone thinks it's the work that's the most important, like the actual physical outcome that you see, like the landing page is up and the back end is built and the website is there and the brand board is created. And it's not actually that. It's the beginning piece of A, the strategy, but B, truly understanding what this business is about, who these people are, how they work, how they operate, what's important to them. How you communicate with each other, what's going to happen, which is kind of the second thing is, are things going to fall through the cracks? Because do you have too many people? And I think those are some of the first kind of fears that jump up for people is like, am I just going to be another number? And do you actually know about me? Yeah. So I think one of the questions you want to ask in the beginning is how many clients do you take on at a time? How frequent do we communicate? In what styles do we communicate? And what do I need to know about you for this interaction? I won't call it a partnership because I don't want to make people think something that it isn't. But in a way, it's a partnership in the sense of, I'm not saying partner in your company, but partnership in that we're going to agree to work together to get to a goal. So what do I need to know about you in order for this partnership to be fun and successful and awesome? So for us, we only take on a few clients at a time because we love that hands-on, dialed in kind of work. Is there anything you would add to that?
My take on it. So I think
those first two. I got like three more.
Oh,
Kevin,
wow.
I'm going to be quiet now.
Yeah, I haven't spoken it in 5 minutes.
Sorry.
My take on it is like I think about like an agency similar to like let's say like you're trying to renovate or do a project in your house, and I think about the people that we hire to help us with renovations. You know, we had our backyard done, and we had a beautiful deck built as one of those pieces of our backyard, and we had 3 different people come and say they're all experts at building decks. And we ended up going with the one gentleman, and he was actually the highest price. But the reason why we hired him was for his work ethic and his his willingness to understand what we really wanted.
Yeah, we talked the most. He listened the most.
He listened the most. He came to our house like 3 times.
There was no pressure to get going like quickly.
Yeah, you could just tell like he was really detail oriented. He was like asking all these questions about, you know, well, what about this? What about this? Well, do you want this? Do you want that? Why do you want this? Well, is this going to do this? And the other people who came, you could tell it was very get it done. Like, you're just another number. I'm going to give you a quote, and it'll be cost effective. And you're just going to, if you hire me, great. If you don't, I don't care.
I'm going to piggyback on that too. I remember before we made any decisions too, you'd be like, I'd be doing something like working out or on a call, and you'd be like, babe. And I'm like, yeah. And you're like, he wants to know what your opinion is on this. And I'm like, oh. And I just thought, because more for me, because I was like, babe, I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
you don't
is your
care.
vision.
Yeah, that's what you said at the end. After about question 300,
I was like,
you're like, I don't care.
Because it was so detailed. Like,
which way do you want the boards to go?
Right? But I thought, I'm like, what way is going to look good and be functional? You got you figure it out.
Do you want the framing to be single board or double board?
You know, that's another important point that you bring up, Eric, though, is do they value the opinion of all the decision makers? So a lot of times when you're working with a company or, you know, someone who has a team, we get that a lot too. People say, can I bring my, you know, VA, or can I bring my business manager or my DOO or COO or whatever, OO, you know, on the call with me? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. Or I work with this copywriter who I really value and love. Like, can they come on the call? And we're like, sure. So I think that's another point is, are they willing to play nicely with others?
Yeah.
Because sometimes agencies are very like, you use our people and it's our process, and there's no room for flexibility, and that doesn't really benefit the client.
And that's a great point too, about like bouncing ideas and bouncing, like, even if you had 3, let's say you got 3 different quotes. One of the people that we had quote the project said, well, I would just do this. And they were like positive about it. Like, they were like, you could just do this. And then we went to the other guy and we're like, is this possible? And he's like, God, no. Yeah, he's like, don't do that. He's like, if you do that, you're going to end up with this, 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 and this. Like, he's like, when your original deck was built, it was probably in the 80s, maybe 90s.
The person was saying use the existing wood or something.
No, use the foundation. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
no.
Yeah, we get that sometimes. Yeah.
Do they take shortcuts? Yeah. I think another piece that people worry about is, what am I actually paying for?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times agencies are known to have very high ticket, mostly because they have a lot of people that they employ. Again, most times an agency is done for you. They're doing a lot of things. Like for us, we do branding and copywriting and the tech and the back end and the social and the launch and pretty much everything that goes into branding, content creation, and setup, design, development, marketing, we do. But I think it's really clear that you know exactly what you're paying for. I can't believe sometimes the quotes that I see that are upwards of 20s and 30s $1,000, and it's like a Microsoft Word document, which is bullet points. That tells you nothing about the experience of working with that person. So it's not so much the deliverables. You want to be asking, what is the experience going to be like? And what are, I mean, I guess the most simplest question is, what am I actually paying for? Yeah. Like, what are you doing? I know one thing in our proposals is we map out, well, maybe I shouldn't share this, but I guess I will. We map out not only what we're going to do, but the sequence and the order and the strategy in which we're going to do it. So month 1, month 2, month 3, exactly what we're building, exactly what we're doing. And this is before somebody even signs the proposal and says, yes, check, I'm in. We've hemmed and hawed over, should we give it away? Should we not give it away? Because there are some crappy people that it doesn't happen often, but that do get on, want a proposal. We have long calls with them. We map out the whole plan, and then they take it and go, I found someone to do it cheaper. And you're like, well, great. All this part that we did, this is actually the nuts and bolts of it. Actually doing it isn't the hard part. It's the strategy and the putting it all together.
The hour and a half call we had together, getting to know you.
Yeah, but when we lay our head on the pillow at night, we know that we're operating from generosity and integrity, and those are really important to us. So if that person wants to take it and go do something crappy with it, then that's whatever.
That's a good point to bring up too. One of the thing is price, right? If you truly have a budget and you have to stick to it, that's valid. I think you should bring that forward. You should bring that forward. Like we get that with people who say, like, I have this budget. Can we work together? And we maybe you don't need certain things right now. We can look at that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think about that, like an agency, I don't want to bash agencies. I think it comes down to, when you think of an agency, they have a whole conglomerate of people.
You worked for like a bajillion.
I've worked for agencies, so I understand it. Like they have teams. They have literally teams of people who work on your project to get it done. The quality of that work is questionable. You don't know. You don't know if they're going to do amazing work. They might not. And I don't know about that. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, when people work with us as the type of agency we run, you work with me and Lisa.
Yeah, who's the constant? That's another question. Are you going to have to talk to?
I know the days when I worked with the agency, you never talk to the higher person. You never talk to the thinker,
like the leader. Or
you never talk to the thinker, the strategy person.
Good question. Who will I be dealing the most with? Or who will I be coordinating with?
Well, I can tell you, you're probably going to deal the most with a writer,
or the coder.
Or the designer.
You're going to deal with
the worker.
And we're the opposite.
Yeah.
We're the constant, which is my favorite part. Eric's always like, are we going to actually get to work? Or are you two just going to keep gabbing?
Keep talking.
Because I don't know, I really believe in we call it a family business. And again, I know people think, does that mean your parents did it and they passed it down to you? God, no.
No.
But we say family in the sense of, we run it like your family. We want to get to know you. We don't want to unless the client's literally like, I got 20 minutes, like, let's be on point here. We're like, of course, we flex it to the person. But that's a really good point, Eric, about, who are you talking to and who are you coordinating with? Okay, last two. I have 5.
Go.
I really thought about this.
Go.
How do you treat your employees or how do they treat their employees or their contractors?
Yeah.
Now, that might not be important to you. That's something that's important to us. I know when I was looking at taking I am taking my solo show, for example, over. We're going to Scotland in August. Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. And they were talking about how you can self-produce or you can hire a producer to help you from, North America, take your show over there. And my friend was sharing with me that she hired a producer. And long story short, when she got over there, she realized that the person who was running her tech, who was like doing her lights and her sound and actually helping her in the theater, like hadn't been paid. It was like a 21-day festival and you were like 20 days in and they hadn't been paid yet. They had been working for them for 20 days.
That's crazy.
And then they were getting paid like peanuts. And she was like, well, where is the money going? And why are you not paying this person who's like working so hard for me? And I think if someone's going to treat their employees crappy, they may do the same to you. You may not see it when all goes well, but what about when something gets missed or something does fall through the cracks? I mean, I'm not going to say that never, ever, 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 ever happens. I mean, we're all humans and we're capable of mistakes. And as long as you own up to it, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Own it up. As long as you own up to it and you fix it and you apologize and you do whatever needs to be done, it's good. But if they're blaming, we never blame our employees or our contractors. And if they're paying them crap, well, guess what? Then you get crap work when you have unhappy people. So I think it's, you don't want to ask the direct question of what do you pay your people and how you treat them, but I think it's more like, what's the team culture like? What
Yeah,
are
what's the
your
vibe you
what's
get?
the vibe? What are
Yeah.
your brand emotions? Like what's important to you and your company and the people? How do you hire your people? And those kinds of questions I think are really important. And lastly, I think it's, do you actually care about me?
Mhm.
And that's not necessarily a question that you ask. I think that's a gut feeling that you get.
Yeah.
Because most times in the first little bit whether this person really truly cares about you or this company or this agency. Whether you're not talking to you might be talking to the sales rep, you might be talking to the VA, but that's still an extension of the owners or of the agency or of the company. And I think whatever your gut feeling is, or you can just tell. I don't know. What's your take on that? Like, do they actually care about me, or does this agency actually care about me?
I remember getting on a call with someone, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's you," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "It's you, Eric Pizik." I'm like, "Yes." Like, hi. I don't understand. They're like, "You own the company." I'm like,
so
"Yeah."
It's rare, yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I was like, and I remember I was like, this is weird. Like, I don't understand. And I get it, because a lot of times you'll get, if you're in this business or even in like the service industry, you'll get on, you'll talk to someone, and then all of a sudden you get on the call, and you end up talking to a sales rep, you end up talking to a person who's going to more or less give you the deal, and that's inauthentic to me. Like, I understand that, because then I'm like, oh, man, I thought I was going to talk to Eric, and now I'm talking to Joe, and Joe's just going to tell me all this stuff because he's a sales rep and he's going to sell me this opportunity. Yeah. But that's like, for me, I understand that as like a value thing, where it's like, if you care about me, you get on the call. I don't even if it's 15 minutes, it's like, hey, yeah, like we need to meet you. And that's something for us.
You're at least told about the process. And even if you're not meeting the founder or the owner on the first call, they let you know that we do this legwork first, and then maybe like they let you know at some point. But yeah, if you never see that person, I wonder. That's just the way we run it. So I thought that was important because I don't know. I guess I always like to not play devil's advocate, but I've just gotten to that point. I don't know if you're the same, but I've just gotten to that point when everyone's like, this is the worst. And you're like, is it though? Like, I just saw this thing with Marie Kondo. I was telling you about that, where they're like, Marie Kondo has given up on tidying her home after having kids. And everyone's like, what a fraud. And then I like read the article, and it basically just says she is prioritizing being there for her little ones, and she's prioritizing her kids over tidying her home. I'm like, that doesn't mean, like, the way the headlines are spewed, I'm like, you're skewed. I'm like, come on. So I just always think it's interesting when you hear like, don't go with agencies, or like, don't, whatever people say, don't automate anything. I'm like, do your research. See what your take is on it. So that's our take, because we get a lot of beef thrown our way. But we're good. We can take it. We stand by what we do.
I can eat beef. You can't.
I don't eat beef.
I could.
I gave up. I'm vegan all the way now.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those vegans that will like tell you every 5 minutes that I'm vegan.
Yeah.
You did good though. You've been cooking. That's a whole nother lie for a whole nother day. I've converted this man.
Well, let's not go that far.
You've made a few vegan meals that were good.
Yes.
They're really good. Thank you, honey.
Yes, you're welcome.
Team player through and through.
Okay, all right.
All right, so go back, listen to those questions. Did any other questions come up for you? I just want you to get that it's so much more when you're going to hire somebody than just what are you going to do for me and what does it cost? But I think those are always the two questions people ask, and there's so many more questions you want to ask.
Yes, so true.
With that. So, all right, cool. We went really long today. Hope it helped. See you tomorrow.
Bye.